All right, everybody, welcome to May's Q&A, right? Yeah, we're in May. Wow. So if you guys have questions, you are welcome to unmute yourself. Or you can turn your camera on, or you can just ask in the chat. Whatever you guys want to go through. We can talk about website stuff, photography stuff, or life, anything that you guys want to chat about. So I will open the floor. But Olivia, how are you? Because I see your beautiful face, so I'm just gonna talk to you.
Chilling, stressed out, the whole usual stuff.
Stressed out? Well, how?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like maybe my computer problem or what, but like my Lightroom has not been working properly. And
Your
I'm over
what?
here like trying to figure
Lightroom.
out what? Yeah,
Your Lightroom. Oh,
my
I
Lightroom. And I'm like, I need my Lightroom
yeah.
desperately.
Oh,
Like,
Kristen says she's been having issues with Lightroom too. Like it's been
okay,
super
yeah, it's been
slow.
super slow. The whole thing where it's like, you're in the developing phase and like you're clicking through the photos to like edit one by one. It
Yeah.
doesn't click through. I can't crop unless I like, do the whole shutdown, reopen, wait 30 minutes. I'm like, this is
What?
so ineffective.
That's not good. Is there an
Uh-uh.
update? Like, did you update it recently or like, do you know?
I
Like
did
maybe
like
it
the
was
most recent update, but I thought this issue was because I haven't updated Lightroom in a while, but like it just continued on. And it was just like I just didn't have like the most recent update. And I
um
updated pretty frequently.
okay. Yeah, because Kristen's saying I updated mine last week and it's still being dumb. So
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't used Lightroom yet because I haven't, my season has not started yet until the end of May. But when I get into it, maybe I will find something similar. But I don't love that. So sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. It's just like, the little things where I'm like,
Yeah.
not right now.
Like I need to edit and this is taking a lot longer.
For real. And it's like I
Yeah.
am basically in my busy season in about a week. So it's like I kind of need this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Kristen's saying when I use the remove tool, it lags so badly. So I don't know.
At this point, it's just like whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully that gets solved quickly. I wish I had more advice on that. But I
Oh no, it's
don't.
fine. It's just mostly me venting.
Yeah. Okay, we had some more people join. We have Bethany and Melissa. Hi guys, how's it going?
Morning.
Um,
Well, morning in New
hello.
Zealand.
You're in New Zealand. Yay.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m., so it works still.
I love it. So what time is it there then? Like midnight? No. Almost?
7 a.m. on Thursday. So
Ooh, okay, yeah. You're like a whole day ahead. Um I
a
remember I
day
went to
ahead. Yeah,
Australia
seeing
and
the
it was
sun
like
first.
yeah, it was like in Australia we were almost like 24 hours behind like California or something and I was like that is so weird.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
living in the future.
literally in the future, so weird. Yeah, well if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat or you guys can just unmute yourselves. It's a Q&A so we can talk about anything. So yeah, I'm
Cool.
here for you.
Awesome. I sent a few. Is it all right I jump in?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I sent a few earlier, but I think it's nice just to do it over video call. Um, so yeah, I'm up to day 3 of the classes.
Mhm.
And yeah, just kind of building out my offer.
Okay.
And I want to ask, yeah, since I'm wanting to offer like cinemagraphs, I don't know if you know what they are, but they're like a fusion of like photo and video.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, my question was more around like, since I'm offering services that aren't common in the market, what if clients don't want them? Like, I'm excited like to move away from like the generic offer, but also I'm like, how do I like should I test the market before I fully launch into like this is my unique selling point? Yeah, that balance between like innovation and actual market demand and what people are wanting. So yeah, if you
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
any tips around like maybe I should soft launch it and get feedback or just go all out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it can be a differentiator that you can have obviously in your packages, like in your offer. I think
Hmm.
there might be need to be some like education maybe on like why these are super cool and like you're gonna like get them almost thinking like you're gonna stand out from all your friends and like give them that. I was reading something the other day that was kind of like photography is now becoming like, oh, what did it say? Um, Not like social proof, social currency, uh, to like kind
Mm,
of boost your social like influencer status, which unfortunately a lot of people kind of want to have. So this could be something that you play into where you're like, hey, this cinematograph or cinemagraphs are different, but they're super cool. Like if you want to be super cool, like this is going to be the coolest thing. So kind of maybe educate them a little bit, but I would also say,
yeah.
um, I don't think it's going to hurt you to once you educate them, put them in your packages. I think if anything, it's going to help, but I wouldn't make it
Mm,
like your main thing. If you were going to make it the main thing, then I would definitely test the demand there first and see if that's even
yeah.
worth like going all in for something specific like that. But if you were to
Mm,
include it in just like your normal packages as something that's just what you include, then that could just be added value to the packages and you could raise the prices there. Um, but again, I think maybe having a couple sections on your website that talks about like educating them on like stand out and be super cool, have your friends in awe, like this is
yeah,
something that's
yeah.
so unique, like be a celebrity or I don't know, something that like gets them excited but builds more of that social currency kind of mentality where they're going to post it
Mm.
to their Instagram and everyone's going to be like, "What? This is so cool." You know?
Yeah, because it is a short format video, which is perfect for reels and social
Yeah,
media. You can't frame it or put it in an album. So
right.
I guess it's my core, like 10 hours of coverage, all your photos, and then yeah, it's like an add-on, but
Uh-huh.
that's a different add-on to what other people in New Zealand are offering kind of
Well, and
thing.
I wouldn't even like have it as an add-on. I would just have it included. And so
Okay,
that
yeah.
way the value's already there and it's one price. And like this is what
Mm,
we're going to be talking about with packages in day 6. But basically like your packages are all inclusive in the sense that this is already here and it's one price. And this is everything that you're
yeah.
getting, right? And it's just super valuable, irresistible deal that people are just going to be like no brainer. Like that's amazing,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. No, cool. Because yeah, I did a project last year. I did a self-portrait each month, which was a cinemagraph, and people responded to it. And it was really simple. It
Yeah.
was just one shot, dress in motion, some cinematic music, and yeah, 3 seconds on repeat. And it was yeah, kind of simple, but people did respond. Like, yeah.
Well, it's
So
super cool. I mean, I don't even know how to do cinemagraphs. So like I think most
okay.
photographers like just don't even know how to do it. And so
Yeah.
the fact that you offer that is a huge differentiator. But I think educating them and getting them excited about it, like maybe somewhere else, like before you list your packages on like, hey, I include this really cool thing, like have all of your friends jealous of you, like, and they see like how cool they are and how cinematic they are. I think it's going to be really exciting. Um,
Okay. Cool. I like that.
Definitely add value. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Bethany is saying, I have this exact issue with albums. I want my couples to get them and to add value, but then I continually get couples that don't value print and don't want them included. So it's hard to know whether to build packages to include albums or not. I have found that albums are kind of a hit or miss. Here's the deal. When people are buying albums, most of the time I've seen they're not thinking of albums when they're initially booking a package. They think of albums after the gallery is delivered. So, I think adding them to a package from the get-go might be like a little ahead of the game for them, and they might not see the value in that yet. So what I do is I don't have anything mentioning albums like when I get the packages, right? They get travel, they get elopement services, they get all the other things that I offer. Once I deliver the gallery, I have an automated email that goes out, I think like a couple weeks after I'm supposed to have the gallery delivered. And it's a YouTube video of me literally explaining, hey, this is how you can make your album. You can make it exactly how you want. It's super fun. Here's why you should have printed. So I'm not just sending an email like, here's why you should have printed photos, but it's me appearing in a YouTube video that's like, here's my album of my wedding, and I use this company, and look at how beautiful this is, and it's on my coffee table, and all of my friends look at it when they come over, and it's just super fun to reminisce and look at it every once in a while. And so explaining the value that way, because then they're ready to hear it. But in the beginning, before they book, they're kind of like, I don't really care about albums. That's probably another like $1,000 I can take off this package because I don't need it. Right? So you make the money later there. I would say the thing with like what you put in your packages should be something that delivers to the actual service you're doing first, and then the album is like something that would come as an upsell later, right? Because once they buy from you, they're probably ready to buy from you again later. um, Kristen was saying, yeah, I struggle with getting my clients to buy print products. A lot of them are only interested in downloading the photos. Do you use PickTime or I don't know if Pixie Set, they have a shop, right? Or what is that? Do you use PickTime, Kristen? Yeah. So they have like the shop integration with the actual like labs. What I do is I offer incentives. So as soon as I send the gallery, they can get I think up to 35% off of prints. I might even raise that to like 50% as long as my margin is good. And then that encourages them as soon as they get the gallery, there's that big banner at the top that says like 50% off of prints. Um, they're more inclined to print that way. Another big thing with print sales has been when they share galleries with like moms, friends, stuff like that. The moms sometimes want to gift photos to the couple for like Christmas or Mother's Day or something. And so making sure that you're sending those campaigns through PickTime to all of the guests as well that have seen the gallery are where a lot of the revenue comes from with prints. And then running those campaigns like if you have an anniversary one, I always send that one to everybody because then the moms are usually like, it's their anniversary. I'm going to give them a sweet little print or a frame or something. And then if it's Mother's Day, like the bride might want to purchase a photo of her and her mom or, something like that. So look for those campaigns. Those are the ones where I really see the revenue spike with prints. And I guess that's just like another way to encourage like using the labs and not Shutterfly or like Costco or I mean Costco's actually not terrible, but the other ones like Walgreens or Walmart, whoever else does prints, they're not great and the colors are kind of messy. So it's like if you I kind of educate them on this in my album video. I'm like, also prints are great, but if you go to Walmart or you go to Walgreens, just know the colors might be off. So if you want it exactly how it looks digitally, I suggest going with the shops that I have here. I'm also giving you a discount, blah, blah, blah. So then it kind of again, but they don't see the value in that until after the gallery is delivered, usually, because then they're like, "Oh, I want this on my wall." Um, and Kristen, so you're saying you offer 15% off. I would raise it if you have the margin, because then it's really encouraging. 15% is like, yeah, okay, it's exciting. But if you're like, no, like this week you just got your gallery, like so excited for you. Here's like 35%, 40%, something that's like, oh yeah, that's a good number. As long as you still make money. So, um, yeah, I hope that answers your guys' questions. Um, I'll take another question. Anyone else? Or do you want to follow up?
Can I jump in with a niching question?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. I wrote this down, but I loved your idea. I think it was day two. You're talking about like why does no one niche down in like winter weddings, like especially, yeah, loving outdoors. Even though it's like less common due to the weather. And my question was, could I position myself for winter weddings as a seasonal offering without making it my main niche? Because especially with that income gap over winter, like it'd be nice to have an offering. But I'm like, say if I went all out being a winter photographer, is that too limiting when like all, I don't know the percentage, but like 80,
Yeah.
90% of the weddings happening in summer?
Right.
Yeah. So I know niche
Good
is
question.
strong in the way because you're a specialist in that. So you're like, I know all the wet weather options and
Yeah. Well, I
but
think you could be
yeah.
both. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be posting winter photos in summer, Like I would probably
Yeah.
like once fall is it coming, I don't know how often, like how far out in advance do most of your couples book you? A year out or
Yeah.
less?
They usually get
Okay.
engaged like New Year's
Yeah.
and Valentine's Day and then book for the next summer because we're opposite to you guys. Yeah.
So then I would probably like be thinking ahead. If you do offer winter weddings, then you could start that like niche offering maybe in the fall or like end of summer and just be like, hey guys, like
Mm,
if you're looking to get married, or hey, did you know like it's actually super beautiful in New Zealand in the winter? Here are some things like blah blah blah. I wouldn't make it like your whole thing, but I would definitely see a micro niche there where there's like a lot of, I mean, first of all, I would also make sure there's demand for that too. I don't know if there is. Do you know if there is?
Yeah, a lot of people will fly to, I don't know if you know Queenstown, but that's like
Uh,
the main mountain destination in New Zealand.
mhm.
Yeah, and I think people opt for it for like a lot of people offer deals at that time of year as well because it's quieter.
Okay.
Um, but I think no
Yeah.
one specifically advertised for it as much. It's all about the summer weddings.
Right. So maybe someone who's like, oh, winter in New Zealand's probably not a good time. You could, I mean, you'd have to educate an audience. That's why I was like, if there's demand for it, then I would go for it. But
Mm.
um, if there's not like a huge demand, I don't know. You could create demand, but that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah. Or I could just
That's-
get in touch with some wedding venues down there and just say what's it looking like.
Yeah, you
Just-
could definitely get some market
yeah.
research. I would definitely do that. It's a lot
Okay.
harder to educate an audience on something like that. I would say the cinemagraphs are different because that's something you could just include in packages to add the value, but the winter is more of like a demand thing. So I would definitely do market research and see like are there a lot of couples looking to do winter weddings and stuff?
Yeah.
And if
Okay.
so, then, hop on that and get on that bandwagon,
Mm.
start preparing for the season. And when people would be booking a winter wedding, start posting those winter photos. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
like when they're inquiring is what I mean to say. So like if they're inquiring for a winter wedding at the end of summer for next year or a year out or winter, start posting those and get them like thinking about it so you're already top of mind.
A year ahead.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because I think it's just sometimes people to see it because I saw the coolest couple, they were wearing like skis and it was just so like in the snow skiing and I think people to see that like, oh, like we love that we can it's doable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then would you make a sales page for winter weddings and offer
If the keyword is right, then yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I would do
Yeah.
keyword research and say like winter weddings New Zealand, or I mean, we could do it real quick actually. Let's just check. Hang on. Let me pull up my keyword planner. Show my screen. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do a British accent. It's a no. I know you're from New Zealand. I do it because I don't know why. I'm weird. Okay. So New Zealand. Is that how you spell New Zealand?
Yeah.
Not super searched.
Okay.
Uh,
Because you want that kind of 100 to 1K.
let's try winter wedding. Winter wedding. Let's do get married winter. No. Uh, wedding. Let's just try. I want to see now what's the most general.
Yeah,
I
it'll
mean,
look.
that's a good keyword. If you added winter to it, you may still even show up for that keyword. I'm actually curious who shows up for that. Sometimes it pulls different keywords. So getting married, how to get married, top 10 places, dream weddings. Yeah. See, there's an affordable wedding ceremony locations, New Zealand. That's kind of like playing into it. Getting married in New Zealand for foreigners. Cheap wedding New Zealand cost. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
So
I would say
maybe
that's a
Google.
good keyword though,
Yeah.
in general. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that answers your question. Do you have a follow-up or?
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
alrighty. If anyone else has questions, feel free to unmute or you can chat it up.
Awesome.
My sister.
Actually, I do have a question on the
Oh
back of your
yeah, no,
question. Is
go.
that okay? I have to go at 7:30, so I was gonna jump in.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Please ask away.
So I want to specialize in like micro outdoor weddings.
Okay.
and I did a whole lot of Google Planner, like Google keyword research, and I find that no one Google searched like small intimate gathering outdoors in New Zealand. So I think people more so search big city name, wedding photographer. Um, yeah, how do I find my people if most of the searches are like generic, like Queenstown wedding photographer, New Zealand wedding photographer, like
So not
yeah.
necessarily elopements, but more intimate weddings.
Yeah, it's like yeah, more micro
Yeah. I
intimate
mean,
wedding.
so an elopement I kind of categorize as like 15 people or less. So more than
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I think the one I saw, I think it was like, yeah, 15 to 30. So
Okay.
yeah, I guess it's bordering that like elopement wedding. But yeah, I was just wondering, yeah, to find my people, what would they be searching?
Let's do small wedding. Micro wedding.
Because yeah,
Um,
we use that
the
term very much, micro wedding.
the next thing we could do is go by venue. So is there a specific venue that you like to shoot at or that does micro weddings?
Yeah, if you do Braku, Bracu.
Is it in New Zealand? Bra.
Yeah,
Is
Auckland.
that how you spell Auckland?
Auck.
No.
Mm.
Let's.
Mud brick, that's a big one. So
Which one?
mud brick, MUD brick. Yeah.
No. It might be too niched. I honestly think this is the good keyword. My only thing. Let's see who comes up for that. Let's see what content is showing. How to elope in New Zealand. Um, and let's see what kind of elopements they are. They're more adventure. Would you prefer more like venue type elopements or
I kind of
weddings?
like outdoors. I'm kind of drawn to that.
Well, then you
Yeah.
might like the elopement route because you could still
Mm,
have people with you, but if you wanted to plan a reception, which is something maybe you could like specialize in wedding wise, then you could work with a venue and have like the space to have more people for the party after.
yeah, 'cause I love that elopement. Pardon me, you did in Yosemite with the couple. Did they made pies and got married in the forest?
Yeah, they literally just made their own cakes and they just had a picnic table and it was like probably 20, 15, 20 people.
Yeah, like those kind of gatherings. So I guess would you say that one fell under the umbrella of being an elopement?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't at a wedding venue. So if you're more drawn to the outdoors, then I would honestly say like this is probably the keyword you want. Um,
Okay.
you can't, it doesn't mean you can't like advertise intimate weddings, but to get the traffic, this would probably be the one that's gonna work well. Um,
Yeah.
just from what I'm thinking. Uh, Elope NZ. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll do some research around that one.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to have a keyword that's worth it. You know, you don't want to like create all this content, spend all the time doing the research, and then have like virtually no traffic coming if there's
Yeah.
no one searching for it.
Yeah,
So
you
for
want
me,
it.
I feel like this is the best one to go with. Do you feel like you have a lot of like like elopement content or like small wedding content?
I have one really good one from Monica. Um, but yeah, no, I've mainly done like bigger weddings, but as I go forward, I'm like, I love the more like slow, intentional, like I thrive in that space where it's more connected and less people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm just
I
looking
think
at the
the first
comments.
elopement, I'm just like, it's just two people. Like, it feels sad not having guests, but not always.
No, not always. I think you can
Yeah.
definitely have guests. Maybe that's a differentiator that you could have
Mm.
in like educating people. Like you don't have to be alone. As long as like I don't know how permits work in New Zealand, but as long as you can have groups like out in ceremony spots, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's something else I can look
Hmm.
into.
Um,
Awesome.
Kristen has another question. She says, about the print products and offering discounts. Right now, I charge $55 for a pack of 24 cards, which are like grad cards or holiday cards. I try to match what Shutterfly offers, but there's always some sort of sale going on. How much higher would you recommend I raise the price to? So you're competing, but they always have a sale, so they're always cheaper.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, could you just include it as a part of the package and then just work in the expense?
I could. I don't design them, so it's like the
Uh,
client would have to design them.
you could offer the credit as a part of the package. Might
Okay.
make you more valuable booking wise, and then
Okay.
they don't have to go to Shutterfly, and then you could like even talk about no need to go to Shutterfly. Like you already have it included in your package here. And then if
Hmm.
there's some way that you could make it easier for them or have it just, I guess, well, they would do it within Pick Time Hall, so they make their own.
Yeah.
Maybe like a
Unfortunately,
tutorial
PickTime doesn't
video.
offer as many options as Shutterfly does. Um, so.
But if it's included in the package, then it's like
Hmm.
in that they do girl math at that point and they're like, I don't need to pay extra. It's already included.
Hmm. Right.
So that might be like a big value sell for your packages. Like, hey, you get 24 cards on me,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. Okay. I'll try that.
I like that idea anyway. I'm thinking about it because it makes it more convenient and easy for them and they don't have to go to Shutterfly or do it. It's just like it's already included.
Hmm.
And then maybe if you create like a tutorial video showing them how to do it, it just makes the whole thing a lot more simple.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Cool, cool. Great question. Um, Sweet. All right, I'll take another question if anybody has one.
I was just going to say to Kristen that I feel like a big thing to lean into for like having ordering their cards through you instead of Shutterfly is the quality because I
Right.
I've ordered like Christmas cards through like I used up one of the studios, so I don't know which one you're ordering from, but like the quality of it was really like definitely standalone, and everybody that I sent to said that about them. Like they were like, wow, your cards were like they were really thick and just yeah. So I feel like that would be the big thing to like lean into when you're trying to.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. I try to educate them on like the quality of the prints that come from PickTime and let them know like if you want them professionally printed, this is the place to do them. But it still seems like sometimes they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go with the cheaper option. It's like,
So maybe not saying like professionally printed, but showing like this is quality. All of your family is going to be like, wow, these are beautiful. And
hmm.
not just like the flimsy, what, like I
Hmm.
don't know if there's a way to say that properly, but it's a like again, it's more of that social currency that I was telling about Melissa. It's like all of your family is gonna be like, wow, these are beautiful. Look at how awesome this
Hmm.
card is, or I don't know. Of just
Okay.
communicating it that way might be more valuable than saying professionally printed is the way to go because people might not understand. You could also say like the colors are going to be exactly how you see it digitally if you go this way. Sometimes with Shutterfly, what I've noticed is,
Hmm.
the colors are off, or you look more sepia toned, or, it
Hmm.
look more orange. Like if you don't want that and you want to avoid it, because everybody wants to avoid that, right?
Hmm.
Then go and hire my lab. But guess what? It's already included in your package. So
Yeah.
just do that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Something like
Thanks.
that. Yeah, no problem. Cool, cool. All right, any other questions? Oh, Becca's here. We have more people. And Paige. Hello, hello. Welcome. If you guys have questions, you can unmute yourself or you can just ask in the chat.
Cool. I just have one last question before I
My
head off.
coffee's here. Thank you. I love you, sister.
So good. I
Oh,
just wanted to ask about editing styles.
yes.
So yeah, I think when I got married 10 years ago, it was very much like um kind of like earthy, almost contrasty, kind of
Yeah.
sepia. And I feel like now with Gen Z, it's like true to life, editorial, kind of colorful.
Yep.
I'm still in the camp. I love the kind of like moody, kind of cinematic, earthy vibes. And I'm like, should we, as wedding photographers, think about the next generation coming through the wedding industry and catering to them, or like staying true to what lights us up and finding the people that still like that style?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Gen Z it's not all the same, like, but
I think it's a conundrum because there's two ways I look
yeah.
at it. One, if you're like everybody else, you're not going to stand out. So
Mm,
then your style is just gonna be like everybody else and like what makes you special. But then the second thing is you don't want to fall behind, right? Like you look at the photographers who
like,
are still using like flash photography for most, and now most of us are natural light photographers. So
mm,
those photographers that didn't jump on the natural light train, they kind of missed out because the trend was, well, everybody wants this. So for me personally, I think it's a happy balance of finding a style that is unique to you, not like everybody else, but also matches what the next generation is going to really value, right? So for me, I think when we're looking at Gen Z, they like more of that true to life, more of that documentary feel, more of that not sepia tone.
yeah,
Like Annie Graham presets that were like really popular like 3, 5 years ago. We're now more in that true to life thing, right? But how do you incorporate that with your own style? So for me, I make my own presets. I don't really buy any because I try to really just be different. And if I were to buy a preset, like I'm starting at the same base as everybody else. So I apply more of that like timeless, like my values are keeping them timeless, keeping them really true to life, but also portraying the a specific emotion that was happening. So like I'll show you a gallery example to kind of maybe play this out a little more. So like with this wedding, I have quite a few actually. Okay, thank you. So like for this one, when we did Taft Point, like when we're at Taft, I really try and highlight the sky and the sunset colors. So you'll notice like I still have some of that sepia tone, but it's not like so
warm.
overbearing. Like I've definitely modified it from my previous edits, I think, because I do want it to feel cinematic. And how I kind of like developed this was I was looking at old movies, like 90s movies and maybe like even just like grainy movies, if you know what I'm talking about, like the older movies. And I was trying to pull colors and be like, what does that look like? So even though it's not like there's still some yellows, there's still some oranges, but I feel like that was a part of the moment because the sun was setting and like, even this like I underexposed this part specifically because I wanted them to highlight with the backlight. So it's not like I'm playing off of the space and letting that tell the story, but also portraying a specific emotion. Like look at the light that's hitting them right here and it's just it feels very cinematic. It's not that like it feel I don't know how to explain it. My goal is to like definitely be more true to life, but also portray the specific emotion of what's happening. So like this image is a lot lighter, um, to highlight like us walking in the sunset. And then let's see here. Let me go
The
down.
oranges aren't crunched and it's got that kind of film
Softer
look.
oranges, not super orange
Yeah.
skin. Like you don't want it to feel like they're Oompa Loompas, but still it's
Yeah.
sunset and golden hours, so keeping a lot of that color still. Um, I really value color. I actually say this in my consultation calls. Like, color is really important to me. I feel like it's a part of the story. And so if we're removing color, like I kind of hate that. And so with golden hour, there's a lot of those orange colors. So I do keep them, but I try and do it in a way that is not going to make them super, like the skin tone super weird.
Yeah.
So here's an
Yeah.
example. Here's a lighter edit, right? Highlighting just like kind of the cliff, but then if you go down, I think I make it darker. Yeah. So then here's another photo, same photo, but just darker to kind of highlight the contrast of the
Mm.
sky with them. Um, So I'm not editing the same way every single time. And like even here, they're looking a little oompa loompa-y, but it's because the sun is so orange at this spot. But it gives that warm feel still, or I'm still feeling like that warmth and the love, and it's not super like, I don't know. Like even here, like it's still pretty orange. But that's because the
That's
sun was
cool.
golden. So
Yeah.
I'm really playing off of like different emotions, if that makes sense. Here's another example.
It looks like June. It looks beautiful. That movie, June, with the
Oh, I
big
don't know
open
if
spaces.
no. What's it called?
Uh, June.
Who?
Dune? June?
Dune. I'm hearing
June.
June, and
But
I'm
I'll say
like,
American accent.
I'm sorry. No,
No.
oh my gosh, that's a huge compliment. I love Dune,
Lots of
and Hans
pictures of
Zimmer wrote
space.
the score in the second movie, and it's so freaking good.
Yeah,
And
those shots are epic.
sometimes I just listen to Hans Zimmer while I edit, and I just let him just kind of
I love that.
bring forth. If you watch that part of the chorus, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, so all of that to say, there's still a lot of color here. It's definitely not true to life, but I think they're still going to be beautiful for years to come. Like, even though there's a lot of color here, like, if I were to look at this maybe 10 years later, I would still think that's a really beautiful photo. Like, it portrays a specific emotion. So that's kind of my goal with editing. So I guess to answer your question, uh, definitely don't want to fall behind trends. You definitely do want to be thinking about who we're trying to appeal to, but what makes you different than everybody else who's just doing the same thing? You know, I see a
Mm.
lot of people doing the same type of edits, and honestly, I'm just kind of like, there's nothing that stands out about what you're doing right now. Like, because you just look like everybody else. So when you have that special factor that's different, you're going to be more valuable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Because yeah, I've heard people say like millennials were all about like storytelling, but with Gen Z, it's about the vibe, like getting shots that tell the story. I guess like we did that 3 photo series, but
Hmm.
yeah, not using that buzzword like storytelling, but like more vibe tellers, which is interesting.
Vibe tellers. Interesting.
I don't know.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. I
I
like
thought
it.
you, yeah, yeah, or just a different approach. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I've definitely tweaked my style over the years, but
Mm,
I think it's just to match more of what I think aligns with what I'm trying to portray. So it's not like necessarily keeping up with trends, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's still being relevant. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, when people look at your work, they should see something that's like, oh, that was Danny's photo. Based on the
Mm,
edit that I see, like, oh, that was, Olivia's photo. Oh, I know that that's who that was because they have a very distinct edit style or photography style. And that's ultimately a part of building your expertise and what makes you different. Because you're not like everybody else.
yeah,
Mm.
awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, any more questions?
So, hi.
Hi.
I have loved everything you've shared, like in the school app and everything
Yeah.
else like that. It took me so long, but I'm just launching my website like literally next week. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm super new to like the world of blogging and SEO and everything like that. And so what are like, it's super vague, but what are some recommendations for like your homepage, like how to optimize that? And like your thoughts on like what I should put in for like alt text or just things like that. I'm like
Yeah,
just super new to all of this, and I
for
appreciate
sure.
everything you put out.
Yeah, no problem. So I do go through a lot of this in my course, but I will show you the um template that I created, and let's just play off of this. Okay, let's see. So let's say we just want to optimize everything for SEO, right? The first thing we need to do is your homepage has to have a keyword. So doing some type of keyword research first. I would say like for the homepage, we can make it pretty general. So like for example, mine I think is destination elopement photographer. So put it in, do some research and see if it's like a highly searched word with low competition. If that is the case, then it's a very good word and definitely something that we should create content around because ultimately like you will show up if someone types your name. That's just going to happen. But what we also want to be showing up for is like organic traffic for like a keyword like destination elopement photographer. So our homepage should have a keyword. So if I were building out this template, I would put here destination elopement photographer. The next thing I would do is on the page, do you use Show It, or I guess I should ask what
Yeah.
web?
Yeah, show it.
So then this should make sense. So then if I were to go here to the page, I would then want to make sure that this page title matches the same keyword, destination elopement photographer. And then you can even put your name, right? Actually, that's too long. So maybe we do Danny Purrington. But the keyword is there. And then in the meta description, you would put something like Danny Purrington is a destination elopement photographer specializing in adventurous elopements or something like that. You can also use Chat GPT to help you with this if you're like ever stuck. They're actually pretty good about it. And then you do want to choose an image. When choosing images, you want to make sure that we can rename them. So I'm just going to choose a random destination one, and then I'm going to change. Oh, I think you can. Oh, I thought they updated it so you can change the image. But you want to rename the image to be something like destination elopement photography, and then something also maybe related to the image, which is like Yosemite elopement or something. And then yeah, when we're renaming images or doing alt text with images, we want to be specific to the image, but also include a relevant keyword that's on the page. So destination elopement photographer, Yosemite elopement or something like that, right? .jpeg. So that's what we would rename the image. You can do that manually, or you can do it. I thought you could do it here, but maybe not for the actual SEO image. Then, so we have our keyword here, and we optimized the page. We retitled it. Now we just need to make sure that we add more of this keyword throughout the page and also optimize our images. So if I click this and I go image, I can name it to be, for this page, it's destination. We'll just put elopement photographer. And then the alt text could be destination elopement photographer in Isle of Skye, hands reaching or something that is describing what's going on in the image. Okay, and then we can do the same thing, I think, with the background image. Yep. So, oh, yeah, you'll probably have to rename that again. So that's how you kind of optimize your images. And when you do that with your images, they give you the opportunity to show up on a Google image search for that keyword. So you want it to be relevant to actually like what's happening in the photo. Otherwise, no one's going to click on it. The more people that click on the images, the more people will be going to your website, but also Google will reward you more and make those images go higher. So we want to be clear with what's in the image. Same thing, like just click the image. I locked this for the show it template, but yes. Now, when you have your bio section, I always say like if you have another opportunity to just like put that keyword in your section, do that. Any chance that you can put the keyword, do it, but you want to be sure to not keyword stuff. So we don't want to be overusing it to where it doesn't feel natural. We want it to be like in areas like this and something where it naturally makes sense. I don't know how else to explain that. If you're overusing it and like intentionally doing it, Google will know and it will penalize you. So just don't do that. But definitely want to be using it. As far as the structure of the homepage goes, this is the template that I created. The content on the homepage has to match what you're talking about with the keyword. Otherwise, no one's going to care. So when you're talking about destination elopement photographer, you need to be speaking to people that are looking for destination elopement information, right? So you're speaking, everything here is talking directly about that. And then you're selling them further, destroying limiting beliefs or things that might be holding them back from possibly reaching out to you specifically. And some of the perks of working with me, here are some other recent stories. you want to have different areas where people can click and keep engaging with your website. It's very important. That's a big part of SEO. If people come and then they bounce within the first 5 seconds of coming, it's not going to increase your SEO authority and Google's just not going to rank you. So you want to make sure that you have every opportunity to engage the visitor that comes with things like buttons, right? Even buttons that like do something when you hover over them, right? Like, so there's these types of things, right? Where if you hover, it kind of fades away, or even the animations as you scroll, right? That keeps people scrolling and engaged. These are all things that you want to take into consideration as you build out the page, and they all play a big part in your search engine optimization. There's a lot that goes into SEO, but I hope that this was kind of general, like knowledge.
Yes.
What do
Yes.
you have any questions or like any follow-up?
That's honestly super helpful right now, just like understanding that like the page names are important for
Yes.
showing up and things like that. So, yeah, this is great information to start implementing. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Again, this is the template. So if you guys are in the course, you guys have this and you can study it further. But Kristen's asking on my website, I have photos as the canvas background for testimonial sections. Is there a way to add alt text? I don't know for the background images if you can add the alt text, but you can rename them. So I would just go that route and rename them the keyword. Also, do you happen to know if title or alt text is more important for SEO? They're both important. So alt text basically is telling Google what is in the image, if that makes sense. Think of it as like when you're doing alt text on Instagram, it helps people. I think the reason for doing that is for people that are blind or like can't see, they can hear what's in the image. Um, so think of it that way. You're basically describing for Google what the image is because it doesn't quite understand, it can't read the image. So the alt text is what describes that. The title should really be more keyword focused, but still making sense with what the photo's about. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to actually do that on the background images. I think it's only the title. Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Um, does anybody else have any other questions? Could be anything. Ugh, my boys are not napping and it's driving me insane. They have been so misbehaving today. Look at this. Look at this mess. No napping. Anyway,
I have a question about questionnaires.
yeah, for sure.
So, how many questionnaires is too many questionnaires in the course of like a year that somebody's booked in with you?
I'd say like 3 is the happy spot. Like I would
Okay,
go over
that's a,
3 because I send one when they book with me, and then I send one for the timeline call, and then I send one for a review.
okay. I don't send one for a review, but I have three. I do one like a very short one. It's like 5 questions for like early timeline when they first book in, and then I do an early timeline for them.
Okay.
And then I do like a getting to know you one that's like asks them a lot of like deep and meaningful questions, and that helps like plan their engagement session. If their video, because I do photo and video, plan
Yeah.
their like storyboard for their video. And then, but then I also do like a detailed timeline one
Right.
for their detailed timeline closer to their wedding day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been doing my workflow lately, and I'm like, is this too many? Am I bothering my couples? Like, but I feel
I
like they're
don't
all
think so.
necessary. So
Yeah, I wouldn't think that's too many. I think that's probably fine, honestly. You could even send like a Google form for like a review, and it's not like an official questionnaire, so it feels a little different.
yeah.
But sending that, even automating it to have it send like after, I don't know, maybe even like a week if you send teasers, because then they have like a product of the photos, sending a review right after that. I think right now my review goes out a month after the project, but I'm gonna move it up to like a week after because then it's still top of mind. Um, and then they have teasers, so they have some tangible product that they can then review on too. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
But
really helpful.
yeah. No, I love that. And I think questionnaires also make people feel seen a little more. It makes the clients feel like you're paying attention and they're getting all of the information that they need to give you. They feel that way. Um, so I think questionnaires are great. I probably wouldn't send them like 10, but
Okay.
yeah, I like it.
And then I also just had a short question.
Sure.
What is your process, if you don't mind me asking, for culling?
Yeah. So I use Aftershoot. Does anybody else use like an AI program? No. Yeah, I hate calling. It's literally the bane of my existence, and I'm so indecisive. So I'm like, just choose for me. I don't care. Um, so I have it select the good images and then some blurry ones if it's like an intentionally blurry shot, and I just like want to be artistic, which I actually don't include those very much unless it's very strategic. Um, but I have the program do it, and then I use Imagen to edit my images. So I can really actually realistically whip out an elopement in probably 2 days. And I think I'm going to start offering that because realistically, I feel really confident with where Imogen is in my edits. Like it nails it every single time. So part of me is just kind of like, if I can whip this out, like I'm kind of already doing the work mostly with the teasers anyway. So if I were to just do the whole gallery, it could really just take me a few hours and I could just go through it, add some fun little artistic images and then be done. So I feel like that's a huge value sell that I may start including in my images. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think people will be like, oh, wow, surprised we got our gallery back in a week. Or if they're like, wow, there wasn't any time spent editing this. I go back and forth on
Yeah.
how people would feel about
I
that.
go back and forth for the same reason. I like worry that like a tighter timeline is gonna like devalue it.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
know.
u-
Maybe a month. I don't know. I have to
I'm
think about
using the same process as you right now, after shoot and then Imagen for culling. And I say Imagen too. I think it's supposed to be Imagine. I don't
it. It
know.
is. Yeah, it is. I'm an ambassador for them, and it's definitely that, but I call it Imogen. So,
I've always called it Imagen too. Um,
um, yeah, so I use Aftershoot to cull and then I do Imagen and that's pretty much my process. It's a lot of releasing, I think, at that point because I know what photos I take, especially if I do the culling right after. I know like if there was a family photo that was missed or if there's a better variation. Typically what I'll do is I'll import all of the photos into the Lightroom catalog and then I will make different collections of the photos that were selected. And if within that collection, the selected photo, maybe it wasn't the best variation of the family photo that I wanted, I'll go back to all of the photos in the catalog and I'll like look through the different variations that way and then just like put it in the selection manually. But it's still a really streamlined process. And I feel like you still have a lot of control. Does that answer your question?
yeah, no, it does. I'm struggling with the like AI with after shoot culling right now, just because last year it's still, even with after shoot, it takes me so long to call through a gallery because I just still feel like I need to go through every, like, it groups them. I still feel like I need to go through each one of the little groups to make sure that the right one is selected. And so yeah, like it's just taking so much time. And so then I've been
Mm-hmm.
thinking about outsourcing my culling instead,
Mm-hmm.
having like a human do it instead, because then you can train that person to like look for those emotional cues like I would look for, but they're not emotionally attached to the images like I am.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say if it's creating double the work for you, then obviously it's like not worth it. I think a lot of it has to be streamlined for it to be worth it. Um, yeah, again, for me, like if it's not, there's a lot of letting go in the process of that. But if I know I took a better image, then I'll just go back to the actual like all the photos in the catalog and I'll be like, okay, maybe there's a better variation of this one that I'm just not seeing. But a lot of it is a lot of trust in like this was the best image and like I'm just gonna go with that.
Mhm.
Um, so I think in some ways you kind of have to release a lot of it, but you still have the control to go back and look. But if that's like what you're doing most of the time, then like if that's taking a lot of time up, I probably wouldn't do it anymore. Um, I don't know. It's probably more expensive to hire someone else too. So If there's a way you can make after shoot work, then I would probably suggest that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, if it's taking too much time, then I don't know. Uh, Kristen's asking with Imogen, did you feel like you were doing double the work when you first started using it? No, actually, I really feel like it nailed it on the first catalog that I needed to edit. And the reason it did was because I uploaded, I think, like 11,000 images, and it was all the same consistent editing style. So it was different locations, but it was the same editing style that I had been doing for the past year with like the new preset I created. So I would say that is the key. It has to be consistent editing. Otherwise, the AI is going to be all over the place. So if you're still playing with different like editing things, it might not nail it right away. And so then you're still building that profile, which just takes time. Um, so honestly, the value in Imogen really comes with when you have that consistent style already and you can show those images so that it can get it and go from there. If it's giving you double the work right now, then I would just say like really nail down your edit style and then try it again, you know? Do you feel like that's the problem, or what do you feel like the problem is?
I haven't used it yet. I've just
Okay.
seen a lot of my photographer friends use it, and then the way they describe it, I'm like, that sounds like double the work, and that sounds like I'm not interested in that. But it would be
Yeah.
nice, especially during busy season, just be like, I'm gonna let AI do this, and then just
That's
like
what I do.
tweak it every now and again if I have to. But
It is the lifesaver of my business. It is really gave me so much time. Like I can whip out an elopement in under maybe 4 or 5 hours. So with like 4,000 photos. So I feel like you have to streamline it in the sense of training it to be that specific style. And then also, oh, I forgot, you have to upload the edited images that you delivered so that it then can learn from where it went wrong and like pivot for the next one that you give, right?
how
So
many
you have
photos do you have to upload for it to like really get your editing style nailed?
I think in talking with the ambassadors, I think it's like the happy or like the best you could probably do is around like 11,000 to 12,000 edited images,
Oh.
which is a lot of work. So that's why I'm like, in a way, you kind of have to have your edit style down and maybe be in business for a few years to kind of maybe really see the benefit of it. But for me, it's perfect. Like I love it. It's something I use literally with every shoot. So yeah, cool. Okay, we will take uno más question and then um we will reconvene or if there's something else you guys want to go through. Yeah. Or if you guys feel good, that's great. Happy to hear it.
I have a dumb camera question.
Nothing's dumb.
Let me see if it happens.
Okay.
Yes, okay, so this error 20 message
What's
is
it say?
saying an error preventing shooting, turn the camera off and on again or reinstall the battery. It happens every time my camera's like just like in basically turned off for like maybe an hour. It's something I think to do with the shutter not properly opening or closing.
Is it
And
Canon R5 or R6?
R6,
Mark II, Mark 1.
Mark 1.
Okay. Indicates a mechanical malfunction most likely related to the shutter or mirror mechanism, but it's mirrorless, right? So
Yeah.
I would take it into Canon. Do you have a store near
I
you?
think yeah, that was gonna be my follow-up. Is Canon the store the
Yeah,
best option, or should I just go to a local camera shop
I
and
would
see?
go to Canon.
Okay.
I always go to Canon.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have the membership with them?
I want to say yes.
I think it's like $50 a year. But if you
Oh,
do,
that's not
you
bad.
should get like discounts and stuff with like repairs.
Okay, I'll look into that. Yeah,
But it looks
perfect.
like it could be a shutter problem, so that's only something that like a repair shop could do. But
Right.
again, I only trust Canon because they have the
Okay.
warranty too, and like if something happens, then it's like they're kind of responsible. So
Right. And I've heard like you're kind of like the second person who said that they trust Canon because everyone else has told me not to trust Canon. And I'm like,
who?
okay. I don't know, some other photographers like around my
Yeah.
area, and I'm like, okay, but I don't really trust you in the end either. So it's like I
I
don't know.
I don't trust third party shops because if something goes wrong, then you have to take it to Canon anyway. And then you're like,
Exactly.
hey, like this shop messed it up. I don't know what happened. And then they're like, sorry, I can't fix it.
Sounds great. Okay, perfect. Awesome. I would ask like if you know like a turnaround time on Canon, but I'm sure every repair is different.
It's usually
So
I think like a week or less. You can also mail it
okay.
in. I would go to their website on how to do that, because you
Mhm.
want to make sure you don't break it in the mailing process. But I know you can mail it in and they'll mail it back to you. So
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Okay, we'll do one more question. And then I have to go figure out why my boys are not napping. Oy vey. These kids, man. Feeling good. For those of you in the course, I'd love some feedback. Do we love it? Is there anything missing? Well, there's more coming, obviously, but how do we feel about like, I think we're at day 4 that's been released. I'm working on day 5, 6, and 7 all at the same time because they're all kind of similar. Bethany says she's loving the course, needs to get button gear and get at it. I know. Okay, so I mean the point of the course is I want it to be done in 7 days. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to motivate people to do that in 7 days. Like challenge wise, if there's a prize at the end or because I can see how far everybody is progress wise and I can see if anyone's lying. So I'm like, maybe there's some type of reward. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Still thinking, processing. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, then this has been super fun. I think our next call is the website critiques in like 2 weeks. So we'll be back for that. And again, I'm trying to get the course out by the end of June, all of it done. So we're almost there. We got 3 more days. I'm working hard to get it done. And then the show it template, I am adding more pages to it. So if you're using it, you may have to re-download it or get the share key again or just re-update it because there are more pages coming. So yeah, that's it. All right, guys. Well, have a
I
wonderful
just have a
Wednesday. Yeah. Oh
quick
my gosh,
question
yes.
about, is the Show It template, is it like actually like you upload it into Show It and then
Yeah,
you just
so you
fill
get
in
the
the
share
section?
key. There's a whole document in I think day 4 that will walk you through how to do it. But you get the share key and then you put it within your Show It platform and it should appear as one of your sites. And then
Okay,
you just click it and edit it. Hmm.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful Wednesday and I will see y'all later.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.